Hello people! Today we're doing a set I'm calling Geometric Neon. I almost forgot what I called it for a second. Okay, and I'm using a medium length square nail. And we're going to go in with a base of white, and we'll just be doing one coat of the white. Now, I don't know why my picture has not popped in here, but maybe it comes in the second part. This is basically a recreation of a set that I saw done by Alice Pierce. And I know I had stuck the picture on here, but I don't know where it is. It might be in the second part of this. Anyway, I've seen this set for a long time. Almost since I first started doing nail art, I remember seeing this set. Okay, those are going to get cured. Now I have, we're going to use, this is a sheer black, and I'm using this with my striper brush just to get my outline in here. There's the picture. Okay, those are Alice Pierce's nails that she did. Now, like I said, I am going to recreate these mostly. I did switch some of the colors up, but that's pretty much it. The rest of it is going to be as it is. Now, I'm just using the sheer black to get my base lines down. I didn't like that one. I did take a couple of tries at it on this first nail because I had to get, I needed the initial V part to be on there, and then I needed it to be angled off far enough so I could make another little V in the middle of the big V. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. But anyway, I'm using the sheer black just to get my base lines in so I have some guidelines. Now, trying to figure out the right angle for me to be able to get these on here and still have room for the little V in the middle. I think I'm not happy with that again. I think we're going to wipe this off one more time. So you guys can see that things do not always just go very easy and smooth for people doing these videos. Third time is going to be the charm for this one. But like I said, I needed to start at the center point for the V, and then I needed to angle it out far enough that I could have the little V in the middle and still have enough room at the edges for the side parts. So once I got it figured out, my angles of where to go with it, things went much smoother. Okay, now we got to get the little V in the middle. Okay, then we just need the side bits. Now, anyways, what I started to say about this set of nails, I have been seeing it around for years. But I wanted to do a neon set this week, and I just was not coming up with any good ideas on my own. So I went on a hunt, searching neon nails, and this is one of the ones that popped up repeatedly. And I do like it. I really did like it. And I thought it was different. I was kind of bored with the same old swoosh of different colors and this and that. I wanted something different for this neon set, and I really liked the way she did these. So that is why I went with them. I can also tell you next week's set is already planned out. It's going to be a French ruffle set. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. Just in case I change my mind, but I don't think I'm going to. That'll be a challenge for me because I've not ever done a ruffle like that. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will go well. I hate it when I have a plan and I have a picture in my head for something and it doesn't come out anything like what I wanted. You guys know by now when that happens to me, I end up hating the set that I ended up with. Even though it might look perfectly fine, it just ends up not being what I wanted to, accomplish. And that is very frustrating for me. But anyway, we're still continuing to do the base lines on this. Pretty much you can just, once you figure out where you need to go with it, just let your striper brush do the work for you. Okay, and we're going to have one more. We did the thumb, the middle finger. Oh, I guess that was it. Okay, those are going to be cured. We got the thumb, the middle finger, and the ring finger. Okay, moving on to the color portion. We got a smorgasbord of different polishes again. I just can't seem to make a design where I can pick all my colors out of the same brand for some reason. Probably because I don't have a full collection of any one brand, so I usually have issues getting the colors I'm looking for. But anyway, we're going to still use the striper. We're just going to fill in the V on this part. Easy peasy. Now, I started to put this on a little heavier because I was hoping not to have to do 2 coats of these neon colors. Oh, and FYI, we put a white base down because that makes the neon colors pop a lot more. I forgot to mention that, but there you go. So I didn't have a lot of luck getting this on thickly enough so that it was giving me the full color that I was looking for. So I did end up having to do 2 coats. Now you're only going to see the first coat. I didn't show you guys all the second coat on all the colors. Mainly because when I did this first one, I forgot to hit record on the second coat. So I just decided I'm not going to show you any of the second coats of the colors. Just know that there were 2 coats on the neon colors. With the exception of the glitter one, that only had 1 coat, but we'll get to that later. Okay, and there is the thumbnail. Now these other, once I got past the first nail, I did speed up the polishing of the rest of them, so you guys wouldn't have to sit through too much excess stuff. Even though I do like to show all of the whole process. I just like to be thorough that way. Sometimes some things don't click until you've seen it a few times. At least for me, that sometimes happens. Okay, we're going to cure those. I also did the index finger pink. Now, as I said, those will be getting a second coat. You're just not going to see it. And now we're moving on to the orange, which I've used this Makartt neon orange. I only have like a handful of these Makartt polishes that I bought as a set when I first started getting gels. I think they came like 20 in a set or something. Fairly cheap, so it was a good deal for me just starting on gels to see how it was going to go. And of course I fell in love with them immediately. But that's the only Makartt polish I have, so every now and then you'll see me using those for something. But I had looked into getting some more of those, and they were a bit more expensive than I wanted to spend at the time, and now I've moved on to other stuff. So the neon orange is just going to go on these 2 side kind of stripes, or wings, or whatever you want to call them. Whoopsie, I slopped over on that one. Now, I know I had slopped onto the pink, but when I went back at the end of this to clean it off, the orange had kind of sucked itself back into the rest of the wet orange that's there, and it didn't really leave anything on the pink part. But of course I tried to clean it off anyway and just made a bigger mess out of the whole thing. See, you can see by that orange it's just not quite solid enough. It's a little too transparent on some of there. Now that whole side I tried to thicken up more because the other side stripe was a little fatter. It was a whole thing, but anyway, it is what it is now. This was a pretty easy set to do. Basically, once you get your initial lines down there for your pattern, the rest of it's just coloring it in. So, and this is not that difficult of a pattern. I mean, I did have a little trouble getting my angle right on my V there at the beginning, but not that big of a deal. Okay, and the last of this one, the ring finger one. So basically what I'm saying is pretty much anybody should be able to do this set. If you let your striper brush do most of the work on the lines to get them straight, then the rest of it's easy peasy. Okay, into Cure, and I also did the pinky nail orange. Okay, moving on. After 2 coats of the orange, we're moving on to another Makartt, and this is the neon green. Now on her set, she had scattered between this color, which I changed from whatever it was she had. I think hers was like a pale blue or purple. She had them scattered in different places on there. I opted to do mine all the same, with the same pattern. So I'm putting this green on the 2 top sections. I almost kind of like them with the white left in there. But we're going to fill that in, and it's going to change the entire look of this whole nail. I should sit down and come up with some designs of my own that are just things like you could do like this, where you just get your pattern down and then color it in. It really was easy, and just sometimes my brain does not want to work to come up with new stuff. It's like I just draw a blank. So hence the reason I'll go off searching for some particular theme or design and then recreate it. I was having a little bit of a blank on these, or what to do with neon colors. And you can tell really on this green one that it really needed the second coat. Alright, and the ring finger. Sorry guys, I'm a little talked out. Okay, those are ready to cure. There will be another coat of green. Alright, moving on to the last part. We go back to Beetles. And this is a kind of a neon blue glitter. And we're going to fill in all the rest of it with this blue glitter. My brain is not really here with the nail stuff right now. My dad was in emergency again this week. This is like the 3rd time now in the last couple of weeks. This time he had a badly abscessed tooth that the dentist had said that it had gotten into his system, so he had to go to emergency, and then they had to go in and do a surgery and clean that all out because he was starting to get septic, and it was a whole mess. But he's back home now, and so far, so good. I feel bad for him. It's like he just can't seem to get a break. He just got one thing after the other going wrong. I have a feeling that by the end of this year, or maybe next year latest, things are going to drastically be changing in my life, because I have a feeling I'll be losing one, if not both, of my folks. And as you guys know, or maybe you don't, I'm an only child, so that's going to be a rough one for me. Like I know I've said on here before, if I disappear off of here for a while, just know that it's most likely because something happened with one of my parents or both, and I have to go out there and deal with all that. At some point, we're probably going to have to move out there, which I really don't want to do, but that's a whole nother thing. Okay, now, that's enough of that anyway. I'm starting to get down. Okay, on this blue glitter, I did only do one coat of it. There's not 2 coats on the glitter one. So that'll save you a little bit. I mean, there was a couple areas where it was a little sheer looking, but I figured it's already kind of darkish color, so thought that'd be all right. But I was pleasantly surprised at how nicely that it went on, and I was able to pull it in nice, straight, thin lines, and it was still glittery. Some glitters you just can't do that with. They just don't want to work. They tend to separate out and spread out too far. This particular one works really nicely for that. I was also thinking while I was doing this, if I had to paint this design on my own nails by myself, I think would have been a lot more challenging. The fact that I can turn it around and get in all these different angles and these different ways is much easier on press-ons than it is on an actual. I mean, if I was doing it on somebody else, it'd probably be okay. But trying to do it on my own self, especially when I've got lines that need to be straight, I do not often have that come out very well for me. All right, we're home stretch here. We're almost done with the blue. Alrighty then. Okay, smooth it out and let's move on. Okay, there's where we are with those now, and they're going into cure. 2 more steps and we'll be done. Okay, moving on. Now I've got purple gel paint. I'm using purple instead of black because that's what she used on hers, and frankly I think it looks better than it would have with like a harsh black. But we're just going to go over all of our lines again, and now it will be easier because of the way we've color blocked these in here and cured in between each one, and now there's a little teeny tiny groove in between each color. So it's real easy to get your striper brush to just lay in that groove and, you know, kind of fill it in. And for the most part, you're going to have nice straight lines. At least most of mine came out that way. And like I said, let your striper brush do the work. Just lay it down on there and just drag it across. And voila. And a pretty fairly straight line that's uniform in size for the most part. Of course, if I keep fooling with it, I'm going to mess it up. I'm really loving the striper brush too, I gotta say. I got a whole set of these from Saviland, and this red one, I don't really know what size it is because there's no sizes on them, but this particular red one is my favorite. I seem to be able to do a lot better with this than some of the longer ones I have tried to use before, and I just am not able to control them well enough. At least not yet. I wanted a nice point on that middle part, so I was just trying to finish that off. Okay, and then these side lines are easy peasy. We just pretty much lay our brush down and slide it right off. The hardest part is just making sure we have a uniform line. This was a fun set for me to do. I really enjoyed doing this one. Like I said, I'm going to have to come up with some more designs where I can do some more things like this that look complicated but were really pretty easy. Okay, and there we are. Oh, I'm going to do something else over here. What am I doing? Trying to make that line a bit more even. And this one, by the time I got to the edge of the nail, it seemed to have thinned out some. Okay, and then that's it for that one. I'm going to go in and do the other two, and I've sped this part up. Alright, that one got a little fat, but it's nice and straight, so I'm leaving it alone. And boop, boop. I just love it when something actually works out the way I wanted it to. Now I'm going to mess with this a little bit more and probably mess it up. See, now it's got a little bit of a wrinkly part, but oh well, it is what it is. My brain is picturing some of this done with foils in different colored sections. I wonder how hard that would be. I bet it would be a pain in the butt, but I bet it would look pretty cool. Doing that V with a foil color would have been neat. Okay, there we are. We're going to cure those. And in they go. And now we're here for the final top coat. Woohoo! Okay, this is my normal tempered top coat that I'm using. Tempered top coat is a hard gel, not a no wipe or soft gel. It will give you a nice hard finish that is very hard to scratch and damage any of the work you just did. I like it because it's more durable. And it does generally give me a nice shine. I briefly toyed with doing these as a matte, but for summer it seemed, and a bold, brightly colored set just seems like it needs to be shiny for me. Sets that are softer or more delicate looking, those are the ones I tend to do matte, which I haven't done much of lately. I don't know why. I was on a matte kick for a while and now I'm off of it. It also might have been cool to do the center part of the V where that blue glitter is with a cat eye. That might have been interesting. Actually, doing this entire set in cat eye colors might have been cool too. All right, in we go for the final cure. Oopsie. And there we go, all done. I like how they came out. I think they look kind of cool, and they were pretty easy to do. Hopefully you guys will give them a try and they won't give you any trouble. If you like them, though, please give me a like. It helps me a lot, and I do appreciate it. And there will be a new tutorial next Saturday as usual. That's it for now. Stay cool this week, guys. Bye-bye.